Today, hold on a second. I'm just setting up my on the fly. If you know me, you're used to this stuff. Anyway, hi there. My name is Crispina French. I am a textile upcycling entrepreneur, activist, artist, and I go live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's just about 20 minutes, and we talk about things that pertain to textile upcycling that are kind of fun and interesting. Hopefully you'll be super engaged and do learn something, right? Because that's it's important. And the thing about textile upcycling is that from the time that we are actually born until the day that we die, most of us are wrapped from head to toe in textiles. I mean, maybe not from head to toe, but for the most part, certainly in the cold weather. So welcome to my live stream and thank you for joining me today. Today I'm actually in my sewing studio. So can you guys see the lighting in here is a little weird, but because there's these awesome skylights behind me, but it makes it hard for real, visible work stuff. So I got a pile of denim over here. I'm working on a bunch of picnic blankets. I have a couple of wool blankets on my sewing table. This one's kind of almost done. And these are all made out of recycled wool and cashmere and alpaca sweaters. This is a throw size blanket. And pretty soon I'm going to do a virtual shopping event on online, and it'll probably be streamed like this. So I'll let you know when that's coming up once I have a nice batch of stuff put together. And then the other thing that I've been working on over the last couple of weeks that if you've been around a little bit, you know about, are that's a project that I do that's called the Stitch Along. Has anybody heard about that? Anybody watching? Let me just stop for a minute while you guys are gathering. Hi, Rebecca. And I think Susie's with us today. And Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Where are you guys tuning in from today? Are you strewn across this country of ours, this United States of America? Right now I'm in Beckett, Massachusetts, and I have to say, I don't want to get too political, but oh my gosh, I'm so very thankful that I live in the state of Massachusetts. We all need to get out there and vote in in the elections this November. So hopefully we can do that. But really, I'm going to focus in on all the goodness that we can create with our own creative ingenuity and just using what we've got, right? So Cheryl's in Southern Colorado. Oh, hey, how are you, Cheryl? Sue Grizel is in Indiana. We got Melissa. She's out in Utah. Hey, girl. And Susie's in Rhinebeck and upstate New York, another upstater, probably a little bit more up than Rhinebeck, maybe. Anyhow, so thank you all for joining me. It's so nice just to know that there's a community of awesome, creative people who are paying attention to their consumption. And one of the ways we can do that is with our textile consumption. So textiles, including, of course, your clothing, but things like sheets and towels and any kind of fabric that we use in our lives are things that we can just be really thoughtful about buying. What types of things are you purchasing? Are they natural fiber? Will they biodegrade when you're finished with them if they do wind up in a landfill? And who made them, right? We want to pay close attention to the kind of ethical treatment of the people in the whole textile industry in general. And generally speaking, they're the people who are kind of the workforce in our textile manufacturing sector are brown women. And very commonly, like probably more often than not, these people are mistreated, underpaid, overworked. And we need to just acknowledge that and do what we can from our, individual places in the consumption chain, if you will, to just think about those people and try to nurture a healthy balance, just kind of swing things back in the direction of taking good care of the people who take good care of us. So One of the ways that I like to do that is with a project that I call the Stitch Along. And I've done a few Stitch Alongs, and I'm actually, there's so many very cool and exciting things happening right now. So the Stitch Along is coming up. I designed a bunch of squares with the people who team teach this project with me, and there's 3 of us teaching. So it's myself, Sandra Primo of unruffled.com. Sandra and I met because she's actually the community manager of my membership organization that's on online. It's called Stitcherhood, and it's a membership community for textile upcycling entrepreneurs, industry professionals, and hobbyists who are committed to expanding their creative practice and or business and building healthy connections and pathways between the waste stream, their production, whatever they are making with that, and also marketing that in a way that is understandable and educational and compassionate and kind. So it's a very inclusive group. We welcome anybody who wants to check that out. You can find it at, if you go to, well, actually right now, you guys, my website's a bit of a mess. I was messing around with it, and I kind of messed up the top navigation. So if you want to go check out Stitcherhood, it might be best to type in Stitcherhood, one word, .Crispina, which is my first name. And if you're on the social webs, you'll see it, CRISPINA .eco. And that will get you to Stitcherhood, which is, you can kind of prowl around in there. We have a 7-day free trial, and it's just a nice way to kind of see what's going on out there. And there are no strings attached. Like if you get in there in 7 days and you're like, yeah, this isn't for me, no problem at all. If you wind up in there for 8 days and, oh my gosh, you forgot to unsubscribe or whatever, like we can help you with that. So don't worry if there's, we're not like trying to game anybody or make it hard for people to, pay for what they want, and not, just kind of, it's not scammy is what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, I'm here, I'm a person, I'll be here every Tuesday. If you want to check it out and it's not for you or whatever, we can help you get out of there, whatever. If you love it, which most people who join do, welcome. We love to have you be part of our growing community over there. So Stitcherhood is the community, and then the Stitch Along is the project that we're doing. So it's Sandra, who's our manager, myself, and then we're also going to be teaching with Mary Margaret Petway, who's one of the Gee's Bend quilters, and she comes from a long line of Gee's Bend quilters. Her mom was Lucy T. Petway, and Lucy T. Petway's work was the first, some of the first Gee's Bend work that I saw at a show in New York City at the Whitney Museum. I'm thinking it was probably 20 years ago now. At any rate, when I think about the magic that the world has provided me to have the opportunity to collaborate with Mary Margaret, my world feels very happy and good. So I really like to just thank her for being willing to work on this project with me. And the project is a fundraiser. And so the money that we raise with the Stitch Along project will be used to contribute to building a quilting studio in Gee's Bend, Alabama. And if you're not familiar with Gee's Bend quilters or Gee's Bend, Alabama, it just has such a rich history, and it's kind of like the great grandma of textile upcycling, because back when people had slaves in this country, Gee's Bend was inhabited by people who were enslaved, and consequently, a lot of the people from Gee's Bend share the last name of Petway, which is actually the name they were given by the enslavers. Anyhow, thank God the slavery has ended, although it's not an affluent area, and these women make the most beautiful world-renowned quilts that are all over the world. They've been featured on the United States Postal Service stamps. Right now, Mary Margaret has a couple pieces in a collaboration with Greg Lauren, who's Ralph Lauren's nephew. He's a high-end fashion designer from New York City. She's worked with him to create a collection fashion, and she's also had work on the Paris Fashion Week runway this year. So this woman is very accomplished, and she would love to have a quilting studio where she can gather with her friends in her small town, population 208, and have a place where they can share space together, because Mary Margaret has a small home, and then she doesn't have room to spread out her final projects when she's working on quilts. So this is what we're working to raise money to help her with that. Does that sound super cool to anybody out there other than me? Like, are the hairs on the back of your neck standing up? Because, oh my gosh, like when I first came up with the idea of a stitch along was a few years ago now. And I thought of what I'd learned about the Gee's Bend quilters as kind of the model of what I wanted to create, like women working together. It was the idea arrived in my head during the pandemic, so it wasn't an option to gather together. But I thought it doesn't matter. We can gather together virtually with the tools that we are currently using here as a streaming service. But we have classes, so the stitch along people can either buy a kit or create a kit using their own fabrics, and they can stitch together in a sewing circle that's created on Zoom, and there's clear instruction given. You don't need any prior experience. You don't need to know how to thread a needle. I have literally taught people who have never threaded a needle to participate in stitch alongs, and it's one of the things I take so much joy in doing. So the thing that's really cool that's coming up is that we've designed a bunch of squares for the quilts, and this stitch along is going to wind up being a Gee's Bend quilt because Mary Margaret is going to be putting that together for us. So there's a couple of the sample squares we've been working on behind the scenes here, and we are going to open voting to our community of people on Thursday this week. So if you're interested, whether or not you're interested in participating, we would love to get your vote on which square you would like to see turned into a quilt. And each person who participates makes a square. They get sent to Mary Margaret when they're completed. It's really not a huge time commitment. There's 3-hour-long classes that really do allow enough time to complete the process. Of course, if you want to get super detailed and go hog wild with like additional embroidery, we are not going to discourage that. But if you're like me and you love to participate in a million different things and you want to have a lot of really good fun with people from all over the world, this is a really fun project. The sewing part of it will take place probably like the first 2 weeks in August. I haven't scheduled that yet. It really depends upon how many kits we need to make and how long it takes the kits to get to where they're going. So we create kits in the studio, and when participation is not open right now, you guys. So if you would like to participate, I'm going to send you, let me see if I can put this link in the chat right now. I have, hold on 1 second. Okay, then I'm going to put this right up in the chat for people who are on the Facebook, YouTube. Facebook and YouTube get the comments from me right away. So you can go to that page and learn a little bit more about the stitch along, how it works, and get on the wait list. There is a limited number of spots on any stitch along. And so when ticket sales when they open, you probably want to jump on that right away, because I don't know how much more awesome a stitch along could be. I mean, I'm just so excited about supporting Gee's Bend with what I have to offer, and also having the opportunity to collaborate with this legacy of awesome creative textile upcyclers, right? So I started saying a minute ago about how Mary Margaret's great grandmother was a quilter. Well, I think she's actually, let's see, I think she's fourth. So maybe it's her great. So great. Yeah. So I think it's her great grandma. Anyway, she's fourth generation. Her daughter's fifth generation quilter. And they started quilting because they were cold and all they had to use was their clothing because they were slaves. So they made these beautiful quilts that were just super wonky, and like you could see the character of the original clothing in the pieces that they used. Like the jeans had like the front of the jeans. It was when You didn't buy jeans that were worn out already. You actually wore them to wear them out. And, some pieces of like little floral calicos and like just stuff that was like, oh my gosh, so rich and beautiful, right? So now here we are 4 generations later, just having the opportunity to really honor and to see like these women were leaders, right, in our industry, and how beautiful the world is when you can take a minute and make a project and support the people who, I don't know if I would be doing what I'm doing today without that, right? So there's all these ripples that come out of whatever creative gifts you offer the world, right? And they all kind of interconnect and spread out and become what we are without our knowing it most of the time, right? We don't often know like exactly what the influence was that pushed us in the direction of our path. So like I say with my coaching group, it is our sacred duty to share our gifts. And if we're not sharing our gifts, we're shortchanging the rest of humanity. So this is my gift. I love to connect people. I love to make things out of what other people might have thought was trash. And I love to address our environmental crisis with joy and creativity and fun and optimism. So if you're into those things, I encourage you to hop on over to that link. If you're not on either Facebook or YouTube, and you want the link, I'm going to say it out loud, but first I got to squint because I can't see a darn thing without my glasses. And they're on this table buried under something, but okay, let me see. It is, are you ready for this? www.crispina.eco/G's, which is spelled GEES -bend -stitch -long. So if you're really paying attention and you want to make a concerted effort to hop on that link, you can go there and get on the wait list for the stitch along. And Felicia, Felicia, the Irish Penny, who is my girlfriend, she's also a Galway girl. Something that a lot of people don't know about me is that I was actually born in Ireland. And Felicia was as well. And Felicia, my sister, so Felicia's kind of an unusual name, which is such a gorgeous name, right? And I don't know if I told you this, Felicia, but my sister's name is Felicitas, which is like the wacky art parent version of Felicia, which is a little bit more common. So Felicitas, Crispina, and then my younger sister's name is Sophia. So growing up in Stockbridge, Massachusetts with an Irish accent, because we came over, so we in time for my sister Felicitas was older than me. She was able to start kindergarten, and if anybody knows Stockbridge, Massachusetts, you might know that it might possibly be the whitest town in Massachusetts, or even a larger place. There's not a lot of cultural diversity where I grew up, and so I think we were like the weird people, oh my gosh, my father. Yeah, there's all kinds of funny stories. But so at any rate, life is beautiful if you focus on the good part, focus on working together and being supportive and nurturing and caring about each other. And the stitch along is a really great way to drive that home. And right now I feel like driving kindness, thoughtful, compassion, nurturing, accessibility, honoring people's rights is really important. And I wish I could wave a magic wand and allow for everyone to be able to express their creativity and joy and have what is rightfully theirs available to them. So with that all said, you guys, I'm hopping off. I am so thankful for each of you. And oh, wait, I do see her pics with you all the time. Oh, my sister, Felicitas. Yeah. So if you guys want to see pictures of my sister, Felicitas, she's a year and a half older than me. And she lives in a nursing home, you guys. She lives there. She's been in a nursing home for, let's see, I think she's 58. So she's been there for 18 years. Yeah, 18 years. She celebrated her 40th birthday there. She has multiple sclerosis, and on the most exacerbated multiple sclerosis symptoms I have ever seen. And you're probably all going, oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. And she has the light of the entire institution where she lives. She has a smile on her face every time I see her. She tells me that she loves me. And she recently told me that she's having the best year of her life. So we use the tools we have to imagine what that's like for her, but she has different tools than we have. And she is not having a bad time, which I just think is such a blessing. Another instance of the world shining light and grace and beauty on us, right? So with all of that, let that beauty and honor and grace shine on you this week, and I'll see you all on Tuesday. I just really, I have to stop saying that. See, someone pointed out that I often say that I'll see you next Tuesday, which really what I mean is I'll see you next week. Oops. Have a great week. I so appreciate all of you. Bye.